Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
A new police memorial will honor 3 men who died in the line of duty.
It's a story of a Kentucky athlete who beat the odds, and tonight a new film featuring his battle will hit movie theaters across the country.
And a Kentucky Children's Hospital continues to collect money to help build a new facility for patients. We'll tell you how much they've already raised. WKYT News at 5:30 starts now. Good evening. It's a way to honor those who have died in the line of duty. Today, a stretch of highway in Woodford County was dedicated to Kentucky law enforcement who lost their lives while on the job.
It is a section of Kentucky 2113. As WKYT's Victor Puente tells us, family members of fallen officers and a state representative unveiled a sign designating that stretch of road. He has our top story at 5:30.
The son of one of those officers who was killed in the line of duty 14 years ago said this sign means a lot to his family. The ceremony dedicating the Police Memorial Highway was held this afternoon. It was the idea of a sergeant with the Woodford County Sheriff's Department, Keith Broughton. Representative James Kay helped get the resolution passed in Frankfort, and earlier today the two unveiled the sign at the Woodford County Courthouse.
So everyone, when they saw that, they would remember the sacrifice these guys made, or many are not aware that that even happened here.
It honors 3 lawmen. Marshal George Freeman was shot in 1883 while attempting to arrest 2 brothers. Trooper Clinton Cunningham was ambushed and shot in 1979. And motor vehicle enforcement officer Jason Kamek died in a crash in the year 2000. Kamek's son, who was only 11 months old when he died, said this memorial meant a lot to his family.
Officers and other people, don't forget about the people that have fallen, but they remember what they did and what happened to them.
Sheriff's deputies tell me the sign will be put in place sometime within the next 30 days. In Woodford County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The stretch of roadway dedicated today is a little more than 2 miles.
A Kentucky lawmaker was indicted on multiple charges. He's accused of paying bribes to a mine inspector to ignore violations. A grand jury says Democratic State Representative Keith Hall, along with mine inspector Kelly Shortridge, set up what's called a shell company. We're told that Hall then used that company to funnel money to Shortridge, who also faces charges. We're told he lied to the FBI, telling agents he had no connection to the company.
A Georgetown man will soon have to move out of his home after an ongoing debate with the city about the state of his property. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Scott County. Georgetown City Attorney Andrew Hartley sent Stephen Price a letter today telling him that time and neglect have destroyed the house and it cannot be saved. Hartley says the only way the city would not tear down the house is if a third party agreed to fix it in a short amount of time, but that didn't happen. Price says the city has been after him for years, trying to keep him from using his property to grow vegetation for building materials and food. In an interview with WKYT last week, he called the demolition a political move. In Gallatin County, nearly a month after an Ohio man died in a crash at the Kentucky Speedway, police are just now starting to investigate that incident. Stephen Cox was at the track in Sparta on September 14th. Kentucky Speedway says there was an accident on the track during an event called the Rusty Wallace Racing Experience. The event allows people to pay to ride in or drive race cars. According to the Kentucky Post, the sheriff's office says they got a late start on the investigation because no one called them at the time of the crash.
It warmed up nicely today, and even warmer weather is headed our way for the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a look at what we can expect. Chris?
Yes, Sam, seeing those temperatures this afternoon right around 60 degrees across many areas. We're into the low 60s, and then it's up from there into the coming weekend. A little live look on our live sky cam showing some filtered clouds now, or the sun that is being filtered by some clouds. How about that? We're waiting and waiting for that partial solar eclipse that begins here in about 15 minutes or so. So we'll see what our live sky cam can catch on that one. Sky cams from across the land showing a little bit of hazy sunshine that is still out there, with temperatures upper 50s to around the 60-degree mark. And Defenders picking up on the thicker cloud cover a little farther to the west. Nothing that is going to be producing precipitation anytime soon. So go about your evening plans. Everything is in pretty good shape. That cloud bank that kept the frost away early this morning is off to our east. We have a little ridge of high pressure on top of the region now, but this system that is coming at us has more clouds than anything else with it. I can't rule out an isolated shower first thing tomorrow morning. Weather headlines, temperatures on the rise with much better weather for the weekend, but big changes start to show up next week. I'm tracking two systems that do show up on that 7-day forecast when I come back in about 10 minutes.
It's a story about a football player who beat the odds. This isn't your typical sports story. It's one that hits pretty close to home.
Tonight, a new film featuring former Corbin football player Travis Freeman is making its world premiere. But as WKYT's Jordan Valines tells us, his story is one that inspired many people to follow their dreams. Jordan is live for us outside the Kentucky Theater in downtown Lexington. Hi, Jordan.
That's right. After several years in the making, the film is finally set to premiere at 7 o'clock tonight at the Kentucky Theater, and it is expected to be a full house. It's a story about overcoming the odds and a story about turning tragedy into triumph.
We all have disabilities. We all have things that we deal with, and I want people to realize that disability does not equal inability.
Filmed and produced in Corbin, the independent film 23 Blast was inspired by the events of Travis Freeman's life.
When someone comes to you and says, I want to make a movie about your life, you just don't think that's going to really come about.
Freeman lost his sight at the age of 12, but the setback didn't stop him from pursuing one of his passions, playing football. Thankfully, he had the help of his teammates who would tell him where to go on plays.
A film like this, a family-friendly film with a positive message, with an upbeat ending that you leave the theater going, yeah, you know, I can overcome whatever's coming at me. That guy went on the football field blind.
Director Dylan Baker hopes that the main messages of overcoming obstacles and facing the challenges in your life head on will really resonate with all audiences, especially the folks who will be filling the Kentucky Theater at tonight's premiere. And the film will be released at 600 theaters nationwide starting this weekend. Live in Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Well, it certainly sounds like a great film, and all of the proceeds from tonight's premiere will go to visually impaired preschool services. Today, leaders of the Shriners Children's Hospital for Children held a luncheon to kick off and continue raising money for a $47 million facility. That money will go towards a new facility, which is expected to be built on South Limestone. Lexington and UK Healthcare are teaming up to build the state-of-the-art ambulatory care center. Right now, leaders are trying to collect $8 million from the public. So far, they've raised nearly $6 million, and hospital officials say the new facility is all part of the changing times.
The headline in the paper says it all: changing times, constant mission. Patient care, education, and research will continue, provided by Shriners Hospitals for Children in the new medical center.
Construction on the new facility is expected to begin next year.
Spending on your child's education in Kentucky classrooms is a huge part of our state budget, and it's where a lot of your tax dollars go. Robert of Lexington has our good question tonight. He's asking what percentage of Kentucky's budget goes to fund education and what is the source of the funding. Kentucky's state budget is a 2-year financial plan. In the 2012 to 2014 budget, education from kindergarten through college soaked up more than half of our tax dollars. And if we look at where general fund money went, 44% was budgeted for P through 12 education and 12% to post-secondary education. That's a total of 56%. Most of that money came from individual income taxes, 40%, and sales taxes across the state, 32%. General fund appropriated money totaled a little over $19 billion for one fiscal year. If you have a good question, send it to us by going to WKYT.com.